It's technically the bye week, but there's no bye week here. We have 2 pods every week.
No, we would go crazy if we didn't do pods during the bye week.
Yeah, of course. The people need some Eagles talk during their bye week.
I know I do.
Of course. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast brought to you by Nissan. He's Reuben Frank. I'm Dave Zangaro. Like we mentioned on the bye week, if you listened to the last podcast, we finished with this hat from the Pro Football Hall of Fame with a bunch of pieces of paper in there with numbers of the players. We got through about 3/4 of them, but we want to finish the rest of the names today.
This might be a first in Eagle Eye history where we started something in one pod, and it's like like when a TV show has like a story arc over 2 episodes or
Exactly.
3 episodes. That's what this is.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we do have a bunch of questions we want to get to in the mailbag. We'll wrap up with that, but let's get back into
We could be like a soap opera and then start another thing at the end of this pod.
And just like every time?
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
A long saga.
Be like the Bold and Beautiful of football podcasts. All right.
I've always thought that about us. The first player, and this is the one I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
The cliffhanger, Lane Johnson.
It's good to see him healthy again. I still think he's the best right tackle in football. You see him get beat, and it's like you're in disbelief.
Shocking.
But he's human.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen.
Penei Sewell is really good, though.
Yeah. But yeah, he's still that guy.
I think there's a chance he wins that Protector of the Year award, which is like a fun new thing they're doing in the NFL, a year-end award for a position that doesn't really have stats.
Yeah.
It's funny that we've gone from Lane being like second fiddle to Jason Peters and then Jason Kelsey. The last few years, he's finally getting his flowers, and he deserves it. And it's fun to hear people just talk about him as a Hall of Famer now.
It is, and I really think he's that guy. I think the PEDs, the suspensions won't help him in that. I don't know how the voters are going to take that into account. It was early in his career. It happened twice.
Every major accolade of his career has come after that.
Absolutely. And, he's probably tested as much as anybody in the league. I also think, he should have been all-pro first team last year, and he wasn't. I voted for him. I didn't vote for him the year before. But that might hurt him. He's only got 2 first-team all-pros. The voters are looking for like 5. But to me, he's a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
And
honestly, it helps that people are talking about him like this. Like every time someone calls him a future Hall of Famer, it almost like speaks it into existence.
That's a good point. And I worked really hard for Harold, and I worked really hard for Eric Allen, and they're both in. I've been kind of championing Shady, who I really think deserves it. I think he'll eventually get in. And Lane's the next guy. Kelsey, I don't have to.
You don't need help.
He doesn't need my help.
Yeah, but Jason Peters might need some help, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I think he'll be in. Gosh, 9 Pro Bowls.
Yeah. Good name here, Jalix Hunt.
Undrafted. Yeah.
Jalix Hunt.
I think he's been way better than the stats say.
I think
we've seen consistent pressure from him, and that's
the last couple of weeks he's been much better.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I don't think he was bad early on.
It wasn't bad. I was starting to early in the season. I was starting to wonder, is he going to take this jump that we're all expecting? The last 2 weeks, we're starting to see the jump.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I do think you watched him the first 6 weeks, and I saw a guy who was just kind of on the brink of a lot of really good things.
Okay.
So now we're seeing it. I just think he's going to keep getting better.
I do too. I think he's going to have a big second half. And it is interesting, like we're talking about the trade deadline. It's like, all of a sudden, you could talk yourself into not making a move. And I don't know if that will be wise or not, but BG is back. Nolan's going to be back. Jalix is coming on.
And I think more of Uche than you do, I think, which is fine. It's hard to know without really knowing what you're going to get from Brandon Graham.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea.
Do you think more of Uche than me?
Yeah, I kind of like him.
Okay. I don't know if I've even given thoughts on Josh Uche. He's been fine.
Maybe you'll pick his number next.
No, this is Sidney Brown.
Yeah, we just talked about him on the last pod. I still think at some point he's going to get a shot at that starting safety job. I don't really know what you're going to get from him other than penalties.
You mean like if Reed leaves?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think he might be in that mix. I mean, he was not a high pick, but he was a pick.
Third rounder.
The penalties drive you crazy, though, and just the lack of discipline.
He's fun to watch, though.
He is.
Just playing like an absolute lunatic out
Yeah,
there.
he does. I admire that. His brother's starting to play better.
Did you see his brothers play?
Yeah.
The fake. I think he wasn't a fake. He just saw that the flea flicker wasn't going to work and ran it.
Yeah. He kind of saw that he had some room to run, and he just
Took it.
I'm keeping it.
Yeah. Mac McWilliams.
Not a lot to go on. Got in the game at the end on Sunday. He was on the field for that last drive. I don't know. He's working both inside and outside, so
Yeah. Has not been a special teamer, so he hasn't really been on the field very much.
yeah. And you wish he could. You wish he could get on the field doing something on teams. I just don't know what they have in him yet.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. Will Shipley.
Will Shipley brings juice whenever he's on the field, and man, on kick returns, he's got a real good knack for that, for finding the holes and hits them hard. He's fast, and he's tough.
He's tough, and he makes special teams tackles. Like, he's good on teams, not just as a kick returner.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I also think he makes really good decisions with his returns. Field position was a problem during that stretch when the offense wasn't going. I mean, you start all these drives at the 4 or the 6 because they're muffing kickoffs or making bad decisions. I think he really, at least so far, he helped solve that.
Yeah. I thought he'd have a bigger role in offense, if
I
we're
did
being
too.
honest. I thought he was going to be the number 2. I guess I thought that coming into the season, and they traded for Tank Bigsby, who was now clearly going to be the number 2. But I was even surprised that A.J. Dillon got some run earlier in the year.
I still think Shipley is such a good receiver that, I'd like to see him get a couple chances in hurry up or.
Yeah, I think he's
2-minute.
going to be the 2-minute guy. I think there's probably a limited package where he can be on the field with Saquon,
Probably something.
like a 21 personnel package that's not a lead blocker out there.
Yeah.
Zach Bond.
He's our best player, best defensive player. Like we said on that podcast, I think it was Tuesday. We were talking about Zach. He's every bit as good, maybe even better than last year. Maybe he doesn't have no, he does. I mean, he's got 3 sacks and a pick and a forced fumble. So
He fills up the stat sheet.
you called him the best linebacker in the game, and I can't disagree.
He just is. He's been fantastic. It's amazing that they ended up with Zach Bond.
It's crazy.
It's such a cool story, and after a while you kind of get numb to the story, kind of like Jordan Mailata. There was a period of 5 years. Every time we looked at Jordan Mailata, we're like, how in the world did this happen? A little lesser with Zach Bond, but still, this guy came out of nowhere to be the best linebacker in football.
Yeah, and it was one of the fun things about the Super Bowl was he was like a superstar. Everybody wanted to hear his story. Every day he was telling a story, and I think by the end of the week he was a little tired of it, but and Vic that was question probably Vic got more than anything was about him. Remember that one day Vic wasn't going to come down he wasn't
was
feeling
sick,
well,
yeah.
but then he came down.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember that. I don't know why that sticks out.
I stayed away from him. I wasn't having another Super Bowl sick experience. Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith's going to help this team when he comes back. I know he didn't have any sacks, but I just like the way he plays. Plays hard, tough against the run.
Maybe plays too hard at times.
Yeah, you don't want to take that away from him.
No, you don't. And I'm not saying too hard you change it, but you do wonder about his long-term health.
Yeah. I mean, I really admire edge rushers that care about the other part of the game because most of these guys are 250, 255. They just want sacks. You don't get paid for stopping a run. He doesn't have any sacks. How many games did he play? 4?
Mm-hmm.
I guess because so he would have been out. No,
5.
3.
He played 3.
He played 3,
Yeah.
because he's missed 5. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does the second half, and I think I had him for like double-digit sacks in our little contest. I don't know if that's going to happen now, but he's going to help.
Curious to see what happens in the offseason, because we've talked so much about the Jalen Carter potential contract extension. Nolan Smith is eligible after this year, and right now I don't know if you could come to a contract agreement.
All those Georgia guys are coming up. You got to figure out what you want to do with Nakobe.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nakobe's going to be a free agent, right?
Yeah. Well, if they don't sign him.
Yeah, but Nolan is.
Yeah. He's eligible.
Eligible.
Yeah. But I'm just saying they're all guys to watch in that realm. You have that look on your face like, I don't know what I wrote here.
Well, it's 23, and I think we already did 23.
Bennett, we did Bennett.
Yeah. Did I write 23 twice? Did I read the number wrong before? We'll never know. Next one, Brett Toth.
Brett Toth showed me a little something Sunday. I had my doubts. He played well. He hung in there, and I was impressed.
Yeah, give that man his flowers. He played well when we didn't think he was going to.
I didn't want to play him.
Yeah, we talked about that. I think I would not have.
Dave's going to be up all night wondering why there were two 23s. What have I done here? That kind of stuff drives you crazy.
I just a handful left here, and then we'll get to questions. Adoree Jackson.
Love talking track with Adoree Jackson.
I bet you do.
All-America long jumper and relay runner, USC. Kind of as expected. Just, he's just not that good. He's not going to get better.
Yeah, it's fair to talk about the expectations with him, because he wasn't a starter with the Giants last year. He lost his job. So to think he was going to come here and fix that cornerback 2 spot, yeah, it was unrealistic. So I think he was just here to push Kelee Ringo, and unfortunately Ringo didn't answer that in training camp. So then he ended up in a situation where Adoree had to start, and he wasn't very good. There were moments where he was better in coverage.
Yeah.
Not going to give you anything as a tackler.
Nothing. Yeah, and it's a tricky spot because the guy that you really don't want in the field ended up playing. I mean, Kelee was so bad there that you had to do something, but you really don't want to get Adoree on the field. That's why I think we were both kind of intrigued by Bennett. But then Kelee plays better Sunday, although it was not a high-powered offense. They don't really have receivers. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here.
0, Josh Uche.
I like Josh Uche. I think he's been fine. I think he's pressured fairly consistently, and I think he'll still have a small role once everybody's intact, but I think he's been fine. Yeah,
he's never been a high volume player.
No,
even at his peak in 2022, he wasn't playing a ton of snaps.
No, he didn't. He played like 30% of snaps that year.
Yeah, so even when we were trying to figure out Nolan goes down, who's going to take those snaps, it was never going to be him. He was always going to be a relatively limited rep guy.
Yeah,
but I think he's been fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
BG's been great so far. But he's not on the 53, so why do you?
I added BG. I had Jacorian Bennett, who's not on the 53
yes, you
either.
did.
Yeah. And Nolan, so.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect from BG. It's fun having him around. He was hilarious before the game Sunday. That exchange, I think we were standing there together when he was stretching right in front of us, and Jameis Winston ran by, and BG's they were talking for a little bit, and then Jameis is running off, and he's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Won't be today, but I'm gonna get you.
It was very funny. I mentioned this on the post game.
And Jameis is cracking up, of course.
I mentioned it on the post game pod. I went up to BG in the locker room. I was like, "You and Jameis talking trash to each other. Neither of you were playing in this game. It's insane."
He just laughed.
Yeah. Okay. Nakobe Dean.
It's great to have him back. You kind of, I don't want to say we forget how good he is because we talked about it a lot, and I think he was a little rusty that first game, but I think we're starting to see what kind of player he is. He's really good. And that's he missed a lot of time. It was a bad injury. Didn't have a training camp. Obviously didn't have OTAs. didn't practice until a couple of weeks ago, so it's good to have him back. He's going to help this defense.
Yeah, I think we've tried to remind everyone how good he was last year because he did get lost in Zach Bond's shadow.
Yeah.
And Bond was great. He was an all-pro, but Nakobe meant a lot to that defense.
And Bond would they were like best friends. And Bond, every time he'd talk to Bond about Bond, he'd say, Nakobe's playing at a Pro Bowl level too. Mm-hmm. He was like his biggest PR guy.
Yeah. Braden Mann.
That dude, for a little dude, man, he punts the ball a long way. And I think he's really good at it too. Like he's directional, and those punts on the sideline where the guy's like, I just got nowhere to go, gets great hang time. He's really, really good. He's
been good. He's been solid. Much better than Aaron Siposs was.
Wow.
Not a shot at Aaron, but like
Aaron Siposs taking strays here.
They upgraded.
Didn't have that on my bingo card. You go after Sav Rocco while we're at it.
He's the last punter. He's been an upgrade.
Man, that Matt McBriar, man, he sucked.
I think it wasn't meant to be a stray at Aaron Siposs, but
I hear you. Yeah. Braden Mann, numbers-wise, he's their best punter ever.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Better than Cam Johnston?
Yeah, his net, and Cam Johnston's got one of the highest nets ever, but as an Eagle, Braden Mann's net is, you can't search nets on StatHead, by the way, which bothers me.
I bet it does. Tank Bigsby.
Got the highest rushing average in NFL history, so no, I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, he earned that number 2 running back spot in practice, and we saw why. He runs the ball hard. He must
run like a crazy person in practice. Everyone keeps bringing it up.
Yeah, and we're not out there after stretch, but he obviously earned it, and that was fun to watch. He was carrying guys. He was moving the pile. He was doing spin moves. And look, he's a guy that had a 750-yard season as a running back, so it's not like this is out of nowhere. He just, lost favor in Jacksonville. Who's their back? Is it, I don't remember who their...
Etienne?
Etienne, right? Travis Etienne. So every time I hear Etienne, I think Eagles Television Network, but it's a different guy.
It's a different guy than the television network.
Yes, exactly. It's a fun situation at running back. It's a good room, and I still like Shipley, but I'm curious to see if Bigsby. Look, Saquon's going to be the bell cow, but if there is a game where Saquon's carries are getting up into the mid-20s or something, I'm fine seeing Bigsby get a series or get a little run.
Just a handful left here.
Yeah.
Fred Johnson.
Big Fred. We're seeing a lot of Big Fred on the field.
Yeah, 20 snaps in jumbo.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks. Big plays. 2 of the biggest plays of the season with Fred Johnson out there on the field. The 79-yard play action of Devontae and the 65-yard run from Saquon.
You know what those plays also have in common? Brett Toth had a good block on both of them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like that. I like having Big Fred out there. And it's good to have him back.
Yeah, and even if he was just the backup swing tackle, he'd have value, but I think it says something that they're...
Was he on the field for Bigsby's 29-yard run? Because if he was, they were teammates with the Jaguars.
That's true. Yeah, I'd have to look that up.
Right.
But over 100 yards out of those plays.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing that.
Mm-hmm. They're going to keep using it.
Yeah.
Marcus Epps.
Epsy?
Mm-hmm.
Other than Carson insulting him, Carson said there's nobody left on that defense I played with, and he played with him in 2019. No, I haven't seen a lot of him. I think he's okay on special teams.
Yeah, he got on the field and just laid a big hit on his first play.
He's a big hitter.
On Sunday.
He's always been a big hitter.
I did see him in a sling after the game, though, so keep an eye on that.
Okay.
If he's injured, maybe that's a roster spot.
So he was in a sling?
Mm-hmm. Well, his arm was.
Oh, okay. I just picture this guy walking out of the locker room, his whole body in a sling.
Tanner McKee.
I'm high in Tanner McKee. I'm not trading him. I like having a good number 2. I think he's really good. I think he could be a starter in this league. And I think he will be. Yeah,
I think eventually he will be. What's the over-under games started in his career?
Oh, man. He's not, how old is he now? 25, 26?
26, I think.
So, and it's got to be tough for
25.
25.
He has one start under his belt.
Yeah, and played well. That's an impossible question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, the safe answers have a really low number because there's a chance that he'll never get that opportunity. Yeah. So I'll say 6.
Wow.
But I think there's a chance it could be a lot
I'd take
higher.
that over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to guess, like if you go high, you just don't know where to go.
I know, like 200.
Yeah, 56, 12, 31. But if you go, there's a chance it'll be a low number. Mm-hmm. So I'll go low number.
Okay. Jahad Campbell.
And we'll know in 10 years.
Jahad Campbell's our last one.
Yeah, and I think you spelled it out on the last pod a couple of days ago. He hasn't been super productive in that edge role. I think I think there's a reason. They did that out of necessity. I think there's a reason Vic didn't want to do it. I think eventually he could be good at it, but I think his strength is as an inside backer, and we'll see where he lines up and how much Nakobe plays and everything. But I really like the kid, and he's a playmaker when he's a linebacker.
Totally agree. I think he's going to be a good player no matter where he ends up.
Yeah.
All right, that was it. I'll give you your hat back. That was pretty cool. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will empty out the mailbag.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and NissanUSA.com today.
We are back on the Eagle Eye Podcast, brought to you by Nissan. Reuben, Frank, Dave, Zangaro. Bunch of emails to get to, eagleeye@nbcuni.com, QR code on the screen. We left a lot of time for emails, Rube, because we have a lot of them.
Let's go. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Something else.
Well, I did. 7 years ago today, I was at Buckingham Palace. I don't mean to bring up a sore topic, but it just came up on my feed that I was at Buckingham Palace 7 years ago today in advance of the Eagles-Jaguars game, where Lane Johnson initially hurt his ankle. Okay.
From Andrew. Hey, Dave and Rube. Thanks for everything you do. Love the podcast.
Thank you, Andrew.
Watching the game, Bigsby seems like the clear-cut number 2, and rightfully so. I'm surprised he eclipsed Dillon and Shipley so quickly, as they both showed positive flashes this season. What have you seen from Bigsby or heard about him from Kim Patullo about his strengths or differences from Saquon as a change of pace back?
Never had a reason to ask Patullo about him because he had one 11-yard carry. I think Nick was asked about him after that. I guess it was the Minnesota game. He had an 11-yard run. Mm-hmm. I think what we're hearing is he's a great practice player, and he earned that number 2 spot. It's the only way. That's not easy to do once the season starts. Yeah. It's not easy getting a ton of reps out there, although they do take care of Saquon. So I guess the other running backs got reps, and he was the standout. So
he runs like different.
He does.
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It just looks different.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was even necessarily following some of his blocks on Sunday. It worked.
He was just like, kind of making it up as he went.
He was like bouncing a lot of them, but it worked.
Yeah. I think part of that was the Giants were gassed and maybe a little disinterested at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
If we're talking about like the differences from Saquon and the change of pace, I think that might be it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, look, the numbers were great, but he's not a guy that you're going to want to give 11 carries a game to.
No, but I do think if there was ever a moment where Saquon was injured, you'd feel pretty good about Tank Bigsby shouldering the load.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's been a full-time running back before, so so is A.J. Dillon, but he's had an injury since then. So, yeah.
Next one is from Billy.
Hey, Billy. Don't be a hero.
I know the family name means a lot in Philadelphia, but with the needs this team has at corner and defensive line, who are some players Howie may be willing to part with before the deadline? I only bring up Jeremiah Trotter Jr. based on roster construction and him seemingly being stuck on the depth chart behind Bond and Dean. He had a huge hit near the goal line against the Giants, and there's got to be a team out there in need of a linebacker who he can get out and play for as soon as possible.
I mean, we like Trot, but he doesn't have trade value.
I don't think so.
Yeah. He hasn't played.
I could see if
they
next year, like off season, they ship him somewhere. I don't know. I don't think he hasn't played, so he doesn't have that value.
yeah.
He was a late round pick.
Yeah.
I don't disagree that he could play.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a serviceable linebacker.
But you're not going to, another team's not going to be out there saying, I mean, they had chances to draft him. It's not like we know a lot more than we did when they drafted him.
All right, next one is from Nolan. Burn it all down and build around Tank Bigsby. I'm kidding, but great work by him. 2 questions. 1, was there ever an explanation given for the whistle during the missed field goal? The broadcast kind of mentioned it and then just moved on.
No.
Yeah, we never got a good explanation. It was clearly the whistle on the field. And when that happens, I think they are supposed to re-kick it. But also, I think what I heard, I think the ball was away when the whistle went off. So it wasn't, Nick was fired up. That was as mad as we've seen Nick in a while.
He was ballistic.
Even Jake Elliott was pretty upset.
Yeah, I don't blame him. But, yeah, I mean, if the whistle's after...
I think it was.
And the thing is, like, if the play is run, like they're lined up, it wasn't like there were guys kind of looking around. What was that? What's happening? It was they kicked the field goal and he missed it.
Yeah. And number 2, with the increased number of snaps for Fred Johnson as an extra blocker, what are the chances we see a big Fred target in the red zone?
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Love a big man target.
Yeah.
Remember when they got Lane a touchdown a few years ago?
I think Lane's got 2 of them.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, I think Lane's got a couple. Who else has caught one? JP ever catch one? He was a tight end.
I don't think so. I'll look that up.
Maybe with the Bills. But yeah, love to see.
What were they doing at Arkansas, by the way, playing Jason Peters at tight end?
Just did not.
What the
have
heck?
A clue. Can you imagine how many tweets AJ would fire off if Big Fred got a target?
He's starting to get targets over AJ.
I got an offensive lineman getting more targets than me.
Yes, Jason Peters caught a touchdown in 2005 with the Bills.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Who threw that?
I don't know.
You're
going to make me look that up.
I'll look it up. It was J.P. Lossman.
That checks out.
That's what I was going to guess. Yeah, right. I was going to guess Matt Barkley.
It would be fun to see.
Big Fred? Yeah.
Yeah. No one's going to cover him.
No. How's his route running?
We'll ask him that.
Go there.
Yeah. John. Love you guys, but my man Brett Toth proved you wrong today. Kudos to you guys for giving him his flowers on postgame. Yeah, he deserved it.
Yep.
Definitely. From Joe.
We've been wrong before.
Yeah, probably won't be the last time.
I remember I was wrong in '88 about Keith Byers.
Huh? And nothing between that and Brett Toth?
I thought Mike Bellamy was going to be the best receiver that they drafted in '90 out of the 3, Calvin Williams and Fred Barnett. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Never caught a pass.
I had someone a couple weeks ago, I tweeted out, the Eagles gave up 2 picks for Tank Bigsby. He hasn't played on offense, and he hasn't been a good kick returner. I had someone yesterday tweet back at me and say, this tweet didn't age well. And I was like, I mean, the tweet aged fine. At that point, he hadn't played on offense, and he wasn't a good kick returner.
No, if you said, like, they shouldn't have gotten him, then that doesn't age well. If you said this guy can't run the ball, that doesn't age well. But you were just stating a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that guy's idiot.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Joe.
Sorry, he's not an idiot. He was just misguided.
Hey, fellas. You recently mentioned Bryce Brown and his crazy stats, which calls to mind Travis Fulgham doing something similar. It got me thinking, are there any other flashes in the pan for other positions? You could certainly argue Nick Foles fits the criteria.
No, he was more than... Go ahead.
But I couldn't immediately think of anyone like that for tight end, O-line, or defense.
You ever hear that song? You know the band Flash in the Pan? That song, Hey St. Peter?
No, I don't.
One of the greatest songs ever. The singer was Angus Young from AC/DC. It was his brother. Check out, Flash and the Pan, Hey St. Peter. I think they made it was a commercial not too long ago. But there's not a lot of guys like that. I remember doing a list of them back when Fulgham, what was that, 20? Was that 2020 when Fulgham had his little run? Which was just, I think I wrote a column saying he's an ex-TO. Talk about being wrong about a guy. I think I pulled it off the site after a couple of weeks. But it's a good question. I can't think of a whole lot of guys who have played at that level, kind of gone from nowhere to that level to just nowhere again. But certainly if you can think of somebody, send it in.
Yeah, that's fun. Very Jeremy Lin-like, that Fulgham stretch.
He was good that whole year for the Knicks. I mean, he was...
It was more... No, it wasn't the whole year. It was like 25 games, wasn't it?
Linsanity.
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty good that year, but I don't know. I don't really follow the Knicks.
Okay.
Until the Sixers beat them.
From Sean.
What seed do you think the Sixers will end up with? Like a 3 seed?
With their 3 games.
All right, maybe I'm getting carried away. All right.
From Sean. Hello, Dave and Rube. As always, appreciate the insight and great analysis. I once again have 2 questions for the bye week. Number 1, as an let me restart that. As an often outnumbered longtime Eagles fan in Tennessee, I am curious, where's the largest Eagles contingency that either of you have run across outside of the Philadelphia area?
As far as like native, like fans that live in that place, as opposed to like traveling to that city?
Give me both.
I mean, I'll never forget being at that Dolphins game, that Monday night game, the game where Correll Buckholder had that incredible floating upside down ball over the pylon. I've never seen more Eagles fans at a road game.
I think for me, it was when they played at that little soccer stadium in L.A. against...
No, it was in go ahead.
Yeah, it was when they played the Chargers.
Yeah, it was go ahead.
Okay. That's all I was going to say. They filled up that little soccer stadium because the Chargers had just moved to L.A. from San Diego, and they didn't have a huge fan base.
But it wasn't L.A. It was, man, it was Cal State at, this sounds really good here, because I wanted to order a hoodie. Dominguez Hills. It was Cal State Dominguez Hills. We were in Carson, California.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't you think that'd be a cool thing to have, a Cal State Dominguez Hills hoodie? Yeah. When I wear that, you're going to be jealous.
And Tampa, by the way, is always...
And Arizona is the other one I was going to say, because nobody's from there, so they don't have a fan base.
Yeah. I guess people are from Tampa, but that's like Philly South.
Yeah, and I think the Phillies thing helps. Like, it's such a big... I mean, they're all Phillies fans because of spring training.
And number 2, both of you are fax machines. Fact.
I'm a fax machine.
Fact.
Oh, fact
machine. That's hard to say.
Wait, one's coming out right now.
Who is better at general trivia?
I think it depends on the category.
Yeah, I don't know, actually.
Like TV, you would have me. I think
obscure prog rock.
Prog rock bands from the mid 70s. I might have an edge on you.
I'm just picturing like us at a trivia night. We're on different teams, and the category is 1970s prog rock band. I'm like, this isn't great for me.
Bring on the Gentle Giant questions. I'm pretty good in geography, music.
Yeah, but I am too.
Yeah, you're good in geography because you've been to all those places. I just study maps all the time. What category would neither of us have covered?
From watching, like, I'm a big Jeopardy fan, and whenever there's a lit category, it's like Russian 18th century literature.
Just say Anna Karenina.
I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah, like that's.
But nobody knows. Like, you're not going to go to Quizzo at the local bar and get
you're right.
Russian literature.
I guess Jeopardy is a different
Yeah.
type of question a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to go play Quizzo sometime.
Yeah, I like that. Next one from Chris.
What about U.S. presidents? You good on that? Is that
hit or miss?
Okay.
Are you good on that? Is that what you're saying?
I think I'm pretty good on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
From Chris. With Nolan Smith, Jacorian Bennett, and BG all set to return, the Eagles are on a bit of a roster crunch. What moves do you expect them to make? I expect Nickerson will be replaced by Bennett, but with Bigsby stepping up his game, I don't see a reason to keep A.J. Dillon. What other moves do you think they will make after the bye? So good call on that, Chris. Perry Nickerson already off the team. I think A.J. Dillon is the other obvious one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe Patrick Johnson.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
so.
Azeez Ojulari. I don't know. He was playing pretty well before the injury.
Yeah.
But if it's a significant hamstring injury, maybe.
You could IR him if you want to keep him, if you think it might be a week or two. Patrick Johnson to the practice squad, unless the Giants claim him again. But yeah, I think that position is, So they're back at 53 now, right?
No.
With
They're at 52.
they're 52 plus BG.
Plus BG.
So
that exemption runs out November 3rd.
Yeah. So
we think they're going to need 2 more spots.
Yeah, I think it could be both those guys. It could be PJ or it could be PJ or Ojulari, one of those two, and then Dylan, I think makes sense.
Okay. Next one is from Andy. Hey guys, I have a music question for Rube. How do you feel about Darius Rucker?
Rucker.
That was just a test to see if he'd say Rucker.
Yes.
I appreciate you keeping the Darius joke alive with the likes of Slayton, Cooper, etc. since Slay went off to Pittsburgh. You guys are the best in the biz. Thanks for keeping Eagles fans everywhere informed and laughing. Go Birds.
That's great.
Andy knows you well.
Darius Rucker has a record. He put out a record with Mike Mills from REM.
Okay.
Which I'll have to check out.
That was a fun little experiment for me to do there.
That was good. I knew what he was doing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, why would he ask me about Darius Rucker?
That's fair.
Yeah.
From David. Hi, David and Rube. Thanks for everything you do. I had a feeling this might be AJ's last year, especially with the team needing to shift money toward the defense. AJ will always be an Eagles legend and a huge part of what made the Birds so special. Still, it would be interesting to see Devontae get another shot as wide receiver 1, draft a young receiver, and let the Slim Reaper lead the room. Would love your thoughts.
I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah. Obviously, we talked on the last podcast about the AJ situation and how tiring it is. He's just so good that you don't want to ever see him leave. But I think Devontae would be a really good number 1.
I do too. And they would just have to figure some other things out at that position.
We've seen him in spurts. Now,
like Sunday.
I think it really helps when you have AJ Brown because he draws the top corner and it lets Devontae get a really advantageous matchup. That's been the strength of their offense for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Even when they're running the football, you still have those 2 guys out there. It's just the roster is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculously good to have 2 players of that caliber at receiver when for years they didn't have 1.
Yeah, for decades. You know how I knew it was a test on the Darius thing? Because if he really wanted my opinion, he would have asked, what do you think of Hootie and the Blowfish? He wouldn't ask just about one guy in the band.
Well, he's done a lot of solo work.
Has he?
Yeah.
But nobody would ask, what do you think? They would ask, what do you think of Hootie and the... They wouldn't ask, what do you think of Darius Rucker's solo stuff? Nobody's emailing a podcast to ask what you think of the Hootie and the Blowfish singer's solo material.
He's been solo for 30 years.
30 years?
A long time.
All right. How many solo albums does he have? I'm not familiar with his solo work.
I mean, Darius Rucker...
Solo studio albums. All right, so he's put out 1 album since 2017. But none of have any of them charted? No, I think they would.
You're a big chart guy?
Well, that's how you kind of, nobody's playing. Who's playing Darius Rucker's solo stuff? All right, the last album was
his biggest song is a cover, but
I don't. Do you know any of his solo stuff?
Just his biggest song is Wagon Wheel, which is a cover, but
Joan Osborne sings on his.
Can we move on?
You know who wrote Wagon Wheel?
Guess not.
Do you know who wrote that song?
I don't.
Bob Dylan.
Did he?
Yep.
He wrote a few.
He wrote a few.
Yeah.
They're unrecognizable when he plays now, but okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I saw Bob Dylan a few years ago, and it was maybe the worst concert I've ever been to in my life, and I would go again. Lucas. Hi, Dave and Rube. Big fan of the show and your coverage of the Birds. As you often say, the Eagles cornerbacks have not had an interception since 2023. Despite that, I would say that generating turnovers does not seem to be a weakness of this defense. In fact, the ability to get clutch turnovers seems to be one of our greatest strengths. But as our CB room goes longer and longer without an interception, I start to get more concerned. Do you think the lack of INTs is due to the scheme? We know Coop and Q have the ability to get the ball, as we saw in the postseason last year, but it really seems strange and concerning that they don't seem to do it in the regular season. Do you think we should be concerned about this trend looking ahead at our schedule? When do you think it's most likely to be broken?
I was just going to go back to the last thing. Have you ever seen Old Crow in concert? They're great.
I've not.
They did a Beastie Boys cover for their encore when I saw them. I'm not that concerned because the thing that's intriguing to me, and I wrote about this on my OBS last Sunday, is like the defense has been really good. Now they got 5 sacks Sunday, but they'd gone 12 straight games without more than 2 sacks. So they're not getting interceptions and they're not getting sacks, but it's still a good defense, which tells me I just think those plays are going to come. I just think they're going to come by virtue of the players they have and the way they play and who their coordinator is and their coaches. So I'm not that concerned. I mean, they didn't have a lot of interceptions last year, and they were a top 5 defense. So I just don't worry. I just feel like Coop and Q are going to get theirs. I can't explain why they haven't. I'm not concerned.
I'm not either. And it's weird this year. It's not like Q's dropping a bunch like he did
Not
last
this year.
year.
He hasn't,
Yeah. Not seeing the ball a ton.
I think he
guess.
has one that he
One drop.
probably wanted.
Yeah, I forget what game. It was early in the season.
It was early, yeah.
It hit him right in the hands.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned either.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is from John. Hey, what do you think is the most understated story of the Eagles' first 8 games? Conversely, what is the most overstated?
Overstated and understated, kind of.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, let's talk about like the story that hasn't been talked about enough versus the story that's been talked about too much.
AJ's tweets.
Too much?
Too much.
Yeah.
Not enough. It's a good question. I would say how young this defense is. The youngest defense in the league. It's not even that close. I think that might be, and that's why, look, they're going to have hiccups, and they've had them. They've given up some big plays. They've missed tackles. But, man, I just think you're going to keep seeing this defense get better and better as these young guys get more experience.
On offense, it's something that Jalen keeps talking about, is that it takes time to figure it out, especially when you have a new coordinator.
Yeah.
And we've obviously talked about the struggles offensively at times over the first couple months of the season, but I probably haven't talked enough about Jalen's thoughts on it, that it's going to take some time naturally. And I'm not ready to say everything is solved by the last 2 games, but it seems like everything is trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I would agree. Do you have a most overstated story?
Oh, probably the AJ stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one is from Mike. Hey, Dave and Reuben, greetings from Switzerland. I want to ask you about Dallas Goedert's future with the team. We all know he's having a great season and continues to be a trusted weapon for Jalen Hurts. With that being said, do you see a chance the Eagles would bring him back next year or even sign him mid-season? We know the injuries are an X factor, but when he's on the field, he's incredible. I recall we parted ways with Ertz when he was even younger than Goddard at this point. Thanks for all you do, keeping me connected to Philly while living here in Switzerland.
I think Ertz caught his 800th pass yesterday.
He did, on a play where it was 4th down and he couldn't get the first down.
Yeah, boy, I thought he had it.
I did too. Live, I thought he had it.
Yeah. It's another great question because he's really, really good. And when they traded Ertz, they had an heir apparent. They don't have that now.
The last few years at draft time, we're like, is this the year they're going to take a tight end?
Yeah. And the reason I kept thinking he was going to be back this year was because they wanted him here and he wanted to be here. And usually when you have both those things, you can figure out the rest. I think that might be the case. It might be another 1-year deal. But, maybe you give him another 1-year deal and draft a guy.
Yeah, they're overdue.
Yeah.
To drafting a tight end in an early round.
Yeah.
They drafted Grant in the 6th round a few years ago. We're talking early round. You got to draft someone.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Another draft question here, by the way, from Kenny. Hey guys, Jahad Campbell has been awesome, but do you think if Howie Roseman realized Nakobe Dean would bounce back this quickly, Campbell still would have been the pick? The thought of Nick Eamon or Harold Fannin as opposed to Jahad Campbell and Drew Makuba is kind of interesting. Thanks for the great podcast. I always enjoy it.
No, I don't think they would have done anything different. I mean, they suspected Nakobe was going to be back at some point and be this player. I think they just really liked the player.
Yeah, they love the value of Campbell. They had him as a top 15 guy.
Yeah. So where they got him, I don't think Howie was going to pass.
Earlier in the year, someone asked me similarly about Josh Simmons, who was taken obviously by the Chiefs at the Eagles' original draft spot.
Right.
I think, yeah, he's a really good player, and I just think they love the value of Jahad Campbell so much.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you love the pick. I mean, to get that talent where they got him, whether Nakobe's playing or not, it's a great pick.
All right, next one is from John.
Hey, John.
I know some people don't like pondering on what ifs, but what if you guys did just for a few moments? What is one of the biggest what ifs in Eagles history you may have pondered on? Example, what if the Eagles won their first Super Bowl at the end of the 1980 season? Potential cause and effects with the team. A personal one for sure. I wouldn't have been tormented by my friends with no ring jokes growing up. Would love to hear what your biggest what if moment is. P.S. I was listening to the podcast last week with my 9-year-old daughter Mila riding along with me. A young Eagles fan who thought it was cool how we can email you guys with our questions and thoughts potentially to have them read. It would be awesome if you guys could give her a quick shout out. Hey, Mila.
What's your name?
Mila.
M-I-L-A?
Yeah.
Well, we don't do shout outs, Mila, so sorry.
You're dashing the hopes and dreams of a 9-year-old girl.
It was irony. We just gave her a shout out.
Yeah.
Don't do shout outs. My biggest what if is the Eagles took a guy, I don't even want to say his name because he's the most awful person, ended up in prison. In the 1985 draft, they took an offensive tackle out of Indiana that never played with Jerry Rice on the board. And then they drafted Michael Haddix 2 years earlier instead of Dan Marino. They could have Dan Marino thrown to Jerry Rice for 15 years. So
that wouldn't have worked out.
That's a pretty good what if. Well, considering the offensive coaching staff, you might be right. But imagine that, Dan Marino thrown to Jerry Rice, both in Eagles uniforms for 20 years.
Obviously, the recent one is drafting Jalen Hurts and the way all that unfolded.
Yeah. And by the way, Carson's having shoulder surgery along those lines.
You knew he wasn't right. I mean, he was in pain
awful.
every single series.
Yeah. That took a beating. I wonder if that's it for him.
I hope not. I like watching him play. From Eric. Hey guys, just wondering, how close do you get with some of the players? Are there any that you consider yourself actual friends with? Some of these players you're around as quasi-coworkers for almost a decade or more, so I'm curious as to what kind of rapport you build, especially since the media can sometimes be viewed negatively by players.
Yeah, I know for me, like, the players that I'm friends with are guys that I covered when I was allowed to be at practice. And, you know, like, for most of the time I covered the team during training camp, when practice ended, you would just go talk to players. You would talk to coaches. That's how I got to know John Harbaugh so well, Sean McDermott. You know, Eric Allen and I are still close because I was allowed to have a relationship with him when he was here. That went beyond just a few minutes in the locker room. So, you know, and also, I mean, I was closer in age to them. And I think that was a part of it. But the guys that I kept in touch with are all guys that I covered like in the 80s and 90s. And now we just don't get that opportunity to really get to know them. And I think I have good relationships with most of the guys now, but, you know, you also get older, you get to a point where like, I don't want to be friends with these guys. I mean, like guys would ask me to go golfing. I don't want to go golfing with this backup cornerback. And I mean, beyond the fact I don't golf, but it's an interesting question. And you know, I mean, there's players that you text now and then, but for me, it's mainly former players who have been out of the league for quite a while.
Yeah, I think there's also a danger getting too close to the people you cover. I mean,
when
say
you have
you're
to criticize them.
yeah, you're really close to this cornerback and he gives up a big play. You have to be able to say he gave up a big play. Like, so like friendly, certainly. I wouldn't say I'm like friends with any, like friendly for sure. Keep in touch with some of the guys I've covered. I think it's easier to be friendly with someone after you cover them.
No doubt.
Like, and it's great. Like, you know, you see a guy you used to cover coming to a practice or at a game. It's like great to catch up. But yeah, I think it's wise to leave some distance.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, I only pick like Hall of Famers like Eric Allen, so I don't have to worry about them getting beat and having to write bad things about him.
Yeah, Eric Allen never got beat. Fun fact in his career.
I don't recall that happening. It's different also with coaches. I mean, I you know, it's no secret I was really close with Andy Reid, and there were times, I've never said this, but I'll say it. There were times I should have been more critical of him than I was. I was protecting my relationship, and I learned pretty quickly that was a mistake. And I remember writing a column saying he should be fired, and he called me over after practice, and he's like, "I read your column." I was like, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah, I agree with you." But yeah, it's a dangerous place to be. And if you see a writer who only writes good things about a certain player or coach, you can connect the dots.
No, I mean,
a guy who's like struggling and you
Okay.
won't blame him, and you know, yeah, I mean, we see it.
All right. Next one is from, I'm going to go with Thighs. Thies, Thighs.
Tius.
Thias?
Tius.
Tias? Is that the name?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, from Tias. Oh, man, I thought you
That
knew
couldn't
that
be
name.
thighs. I think the H is going to be silent. I mean, that TH is going to be
Ties.
a T sound.
Okay.
So,
My name is Ties, and I'm a massive fan of your show. It's from Germany, so I guess it's a German name that I'm not familiar with. The Eagles are projected to have 5 draft picks in the first 3 rounds of the 2026 draft. Which positions would you draft with these picks, and would you double stack a position like we did with Q and Coop? Here's what I would do. Round 1, edge. Round 2, interior O-line. Round 3, edge, tight end, cornerback. Thanks for the great works and greetings from Germany.
Well, it's a fun question. I mean, you have to know what's available, like what players are there.
Yeah, you can't just say draft an edge in the first round.
Yeah.
But those are the right positions, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What did he say? Interior O-line, edge, and corner?
And tight end.
And tight end.
Yeah.
I think wide receiver is a kind of a low-key need, a young receiver.
And I would say with interior O-line, like I think there's a route where you draft a tackle who has flexibility.
That's what they like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think those positions are right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's from Sebastian. This might be the same Sebastian. I don't know. I didn't do a good check here.
Have we ever got an email from a Sebastian?
I think this is a different one. My name is Sebastian. I'm a big fan of the pod, currently living in London, but originally from Princeton, New Jersey.
Wow.
I've been a fan since I was around 7 years old, and somehow it seems like the more I watch, the more nervous I get before every game.
Really?
My question for you is a bit random, but as a very longtime Eagles fan, are you guys animated when you watch games? Is there anything that will always get you out of your seat? Or are you very calm and composed journalists who have seen it all before? Keep up the great work. I haven't missed an Eagle Eye episode in years.
It's interesting because Princeton and like London are kind of similar. Princeton's, you know, kind of got a British feel to it, you know, a little bit. The one time I got out of my seat, and I told this story before, it was when Chris Jenkins hit the 3. I was covering the Villanova, North Carolina game, and I was sitting next to Mike Kern, and I'd never lost it at any sports event. You know, you sit there, you've seen it all. You got a story to write. You're focused. You're quiet. When he hit that shot, we both stood up and screamed. And I actually told Jay Wright that story. He was at practice back in training camp, and I told him that was the only time I ever lost my cool covering a game. Wow. And he was funny. He goes, I thought I saw you guys celebrating.
Jay was cooler than you.
He was. I said that. I said, yeah, he just walked over. And,
bang.
Yeah. So that was it. Houston, your old hometown.
I never, I don't think I've ever, the only thing I do that's very annoying and I can't stop it, there's a fumble. I don't yell it, but ball. And I can't stop it. It's very stupid. It's like a tick I have, and I whenever I see the football pop out, I say ball.
Do you do that with other things? Like if somebody drops a can of pears at the grocery store, do you,
Pears.
I don't know, can of pears.
No.
Do you just yell ball and dive on it?
No.
No.
And I maybe lost my composure a little bit on Sunday looking through my binoculars at Cam Scatabo.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, Scatabo. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that was tough. Last one here from Chris. Please tell Rube that The Wire is the greatest show of all time and he needs to watch ASAP.
Okay.
I listen to you guys all the time and have been for many years. If The Wire references start making an appearance on this pod, I think it would be one of them good problems. Also, go Birds from all the way out here. I am representing us extremely well.
Where's he?
I don't know.
So he said greetings from out here, but he didn't say where he's from.
It might have said it, and I might have cut it off for brevity.
Got it.
Yeah.
Brevity is the soul of wit.
Unless there was an important part that I cut out. Then it's not great.
Thank
The
you.
Wire's great.
Yeah, we don't really get into like popular culture too much on this pod. Some pods do.
Yeah. There's reasons for that.
Yeah, because we don't have the same.
Yeah.
We don't overlap.
Mhm.
Our popular culture Venn diagrams really.
Yeah, a very small spot in
Yeah.
between. What do you think is the thing we overlap most on, pop culture wise?
I mean, there's some bands that we both like.
Mhm.
I can't think of any at
There's a few. Yeah.
the moment. Yeah.
Probably not TV or movies. You don't watch movies.
Don't watch movies. A couple TV shows, but
Your TV shows are always so random to me. Like the ones, like every once in a while I hit a reference. I'm like, wait a second.
yeah, I'm just a random kind of guy.
All right. Thanks for all the emails. If you have one for us, eagle@nbcuni.com. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, click the like button, subscribe there as well. Rube, any final thoughts?
Oh, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy football. And
Yeah. Some stress-free football.
yeah, Sunday. I love Sundays without an Eagles game.
It's always fun.
I wish it was a 9:30 game, but I'll just have to settle with 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock.
Sounds good, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. For Reuben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. This has been Eagle Eye, presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.